Hello. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon here from France right now. My name is Adriel. I just entered the studio, so hopefully everything looks okay. My hair, my outfit. So if everything's okay, then with you, everything's okay with me. So I wanted to ask you, how are you all doing today? How are you? Where are you watching from? Where in Spain? Where in the world are you watching from right now? You can feel free to tell me. Again, there's no problem taking your time to answer. I'm here to listen to your answers. It's a lot more interesting when you answer anything that I ask you here on the live stream. So, okay, I have one comment here from Juicy. That's from Italy. All right, that's cool. Yeah. And I will see if there's any other people too who are calling at this moment. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about something that I presented last Saturday. I don't know if you were tuned in the morning. I talked about something that was called small talk. So I'm going to show this presentation for you right now. It's a presentation on small talk. So first of all, the big question is, what is small talk, right? That's the first thing we need to know. What is small talk? So I'm going to show you the presentation. All right, so whenever it's ready, I don't know if you can see the presentation yet, but there it is. All right, great. And yeah, small talk in our big world. So again, small talk. The first question is, what is small talk? Can you tell me what small talk is? This is something that I teach often in my classes. Um, Not everyone knows what small talk is, but if you can tell me what small talk is, we could maybe talk about our favorite topics of small talk. Anyone know? What is small talk? What is it? Hmm. Does anyone know? Well, small talk. If you haven't answered yet, I'm waiting for your comments to appear in the live chat. Okay, I finally got one that says no from Christina from Bilbao. Very, very good city. One of my favorite cities in Spain, or shall I say, the Basque Country. Small talk is something that we do all the time. Actually, it's one of the fundamentals of communication. What small talk is what you call in Spanish charla. It also can be when you talk about anything just to start a conversation. So why do we make small talk? When should we make small talk? Where do we usually make small talk? Again, a few questions here for you, but if small talk is everyday conversation, why do we make it? And when should we make small talk? Where do we make small talk? Can anybody tell me here? Anything at all? Why do we make small talk? Again, okay. I have a comment from Christina. With who? who who do we make small talk with? With me. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, with your friends, good. That's one thing. Only with your friends? Is that the only person that you make small talk with? Is there no one else that you make small talk with? Hmm. No one else. No? Just your friends. Just me. Anyone else? Yes. You can comment on the live chat. I want to see some examples of who we make small talk with, where and when we make small talk. Hmm. Anyone else? Hmm. 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 I'm okay with silence in my classes. I can wait a long time for you to give me the answer. It's no problem for me. Let's see. Well, so I'm seeing right here, yeah, some of the comments here on the landing page comments. So sorry about that. I was looking at the live chat on YouTube. So looking here, I've got family. And I've also got the let's see, mostly family, and what else? Neighbors, okay, random conversation, okay, and it's good to talk to you here. All right, I see you. I see. Welcome, David from Sevilla. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. And also, I have Fernando and Camilo. So, what if? And let's see. So, if you are commenting right now, I am listening to your comments. I'm looking at both at the live chat and also the landing chat, landing stream. So please feel free to comment wherever you like. It's no problem. So let's continue here. So now you're talking, right? Small talk is something we do to feel comfortable. Everyday conversation is easy to use with anyone. And remember that politics, religion, and difficult topics are not easy to use with anyone. So, what are some examples of conversations that are a little bit difficult? Hmm. Not just for example, what are some other topics that are considered to be taboo? Taboo. We use this word, taboo. I'll spell it here for you. In your culture, I have a comment here from Luz saying on YouTube saying that the coronavirus is a small talk conversation. It could also be small talk, something we do to have small talk. And for those of you joining us, I have a comment here from Virginia. This is about small talk, which means everyday conversation. Yeah, everyday conversation. So, for those of you joining us, I am replacing Delilah, and this was a class that I showed last Saturday. I'm a teacher I specialize mainly in business English, but I also like helping people with everyday conversation. Small talk is an amazing way to practice everyday conversation. So, yeah, good. I have a comment here from Fernando that says that money and salary are something that is a part of taboo in small talk. So we have money, salary. Yeah, these are things that you don't want to typically ask about. So this is something that's very different. So again, we'll continue to talk about this during the class, but we'll talk a little bit now about where small talk happens. It happens when you're waiting in line. It happens when you're sitting in a public place. It happens at the airport, the train station, at the bus station. Happens at the market, at work. Where else does small talk happen? What's another place that small talk happens that you can tell me about? Yeah, talking about the weather in the elevator. I have a comment here from Virginia. Yeah, this is true. This is one thing that we're going to talk about is the fact that a lot of small talk is just talking about the weather. But why do we talk about these things with people when we're in the elevator or waiting in line, or where else do we make small talk? Can you tell me where else we make small talk? Yeah, to break the ice, good. I have a comment here from Laura. That's good. Yeah, to break the ice is a great expression to learn in English. Yeah, it's polite from Fernando. Thank you. Yes, it's polite. And well, I don't know what David is writing, but it's. I think he's trying to make small talk. Yeah, we you can talk about children. You can talk about love. I guess you can. I guess it depends to who you're talking to, right? I mean, there's a different thing. So when we talk about small talk again, yeah, at the bus station, remember bus station or the bus stop, right? Where we wait for the bus. And yeah, these are things that are important when we talk to someone else. But really, it depends. It really depends. When you say break the ice, it means to make the situation more comfortable. Yeah, so I have a comment here from Camilo. Soccer, maybe? No, I would say yes. I would say that soccer or sports is a great small talk conversation, something you can talk about. Again, this is something that should be natural to everybody. So, which examples here are good examples of small talk conversation, which are not? First one, the weather is nice today, isn't it? Okay, so we already talked about this. This is something that is clearly a small talk conversation. What about this one? Nice clothes. Where did you buy them? Is that a good small talk conversation? All right. So for those of you tuning in, I have Johanna is tuning in here. And hello. And we are talking about everyday conversation. So I have a comment from Laura saying that it is small talk. Does everybody agree? Is this something that is about small talk? When you can you go to anybody and talk about their clothes? Is that something you can do? Do you do this? Do people do this to you when you are in the elevator or waiting in line? Hmm. So Fernando says, not sure. It could be. Okay. Hmm. Could be. Well, why is it? Why isn't it? Can you tell me? Hmm. Any idea? I'm happy to have more comments, but I'll wait for your comments to come in. For now, I will continue here. Of course, this one might be a little bit risky. I believe in God. Do you? Or How much money do you make? So, where do you like to eat? So, which of these are more small talk? Yeah, okay. I'm getting a comment from Carolina that that's awkward. Yeah, that's a good word. I teach that word a lot in my classes. Awkward, right, is something that's uncomfortable, right? Uncomfortable. Again, something you don't find comfortable. So, of these conversations, we have to think about the reason we make small talk. So, we're talking about something with someone else. And I want to ask you, is small talk something you do more with a stranger or more with someone you know? Again, let's think about this. Is this someone that you have a deep or strong relationship with? Or is it someone that you don't really know yet? When do is small talk something for really for people you know at a close level personally or at a level that you know informally, right? So we have the whole idea of personal versus impersonal, right? Or formal versus informal. So, which of these are good examples of small talk? Hmm. Okay. So the thing is I have a comment here from Fernando that says you don't know really. I would say also if it's someone you don't really know, right? You don't really know this person, you have to be very careful what kind of small talk conversation you talk about with this person. So let's continue here with the next part, striking up a conversation. So, striking up a conversation is, again, it means beginning a conversation, it begins starting a conversation. And there are a few things we're going to look at and how we ask these questions. So, you have a question using the verb to be. Are you enjoying the conference? Are you staying near here? Have you been to Madrid before? Have you made any useful contacts? Did you have a good day? Did you meet any interesting people? And of course, the one that I think is very interesting to learn, the negatively phrased question. So, the first thing is what is the difference about these questions? The difference. Can you tell me what is the most different thing in these questions? Which word is gives a different kind of question? Does anyone want to comment? Anyone brave enough to comment? What is the thing that makes these questions different from the other questions? Hmm? No comments? No comments? So, what we have in these questions in their structure is what we call the question word. Okay, the question word. It's when we transform in this situation a verb into a question word. So, I'm going to write it for you on both. Yeah. So again, these are questions, right, from Laura. The first conversations about affirmation, sure. Asking for information. Thank you for posting the comments. And the first thing, yeah, it says a verb. We said a verb, but the funny thing is it's not the main verb. It's what we call a question word. So I'm going to send that on both of the chats here for you. When we ask a question, the most important thing is to have a verb that we transform into a question word. So this is the verb to be, or the verb to have, or the verb to do. It becomes a question word. And we use these in a different way every time that we ask a question for small talk. So let's talk about this for a minute. The main verb that you're seeing are verbs such as enjoying, staying, right? To be. Yeah, so for example, Camilo, you have a question, what do you think? Yeah. Now, what in this situation is the question word? But we have to understand that in this situation, the question word is something that it really it tells you what kind of question you want to answer. So for example, if you say what do you think, then we're looking for a specific kind of information. But if we have a question where we ask are or have or did, it's usually just for a yes or no question. All right, this is an important difference. There's the last question here we see that says didn't. Didn't. Why do we ask this question? Didn't I see your name on the conference? Didn't I see your name on the presentation? And for example, if I were to ask you the question, you're from Spain, aren't you? Why do I ask a negative question in this situation? Close questions from Virginia. Close questions. Why are we asking this question here? Didn't I see your name on the conference? Or didn't you go to Spain? Didn't you go to China last year? Why do we ask with a negative question? Yeah. So we expect an affirmative answer, right? Because we're not sure. We're not absolutely sure. Yeah, good. We have another one from Eduardo. Thank you to ask for confirmation. So again, we expect an affirmative answer. We expect a confirmation. We make what's called an assumption in this situation. So again, it's a good thing for small talk. But small talk is not always easy for people. So the first question for you is, do you avoid small talk? How do you communicate? Verbal, nonverbal? For some, body language is more important than verbal communication. So how do you communicate? Do you avoid small talk? Is small talk something you enjoy? Waiting for your answers here. How do you communicate? Please, do not be shy. Here on the live chat, I can wait a little bit for you to answer. Yeah, okay, all right. I have an answer here from Laura. Depends on the person. If I like it. Yeah, if you like them, you can say, or if you like that person. Yeah, so you can say it's important both, verbal, nonverbal from Virginia. I also have from Fernando, not always. Yeah. Well, again, we're all very different. We all enjoy communicating with each other. With the situation here, as Eduardo says on the YouTube live stream, it says he depends who you are talking to. So again, yeah, it depends where you are, depends what you're doing. It always depends. But at the same time, I think small talk is a very important basis of communication. I think no matter where we are in the world, small talk is something that is natural, right? Yeah, so good. So I'm getting some good answers here. So from Carolina, it's different if you are in the elevator than in the park. Yeah. But Fernando says it could be a waste of time. Depends on my mood. That's what Laura says. So these are great answers. Again, we're all saying it depends on things, right? So small talk is something that is natural to us as people, but it's something that still depends on, where we are, how we are feeling, depending on what we are doing, and also depends who you are talking to. So small talk is not as easy as I think you would like it to be. So, for example, I have a question for all of you. When you are practicing English, is do you ever practice small talk with people? Maybe you practice it with tourists that visit your city. Do you practice it with people that you work with? Do you practice it maybe with friends of yours? You decide to speak English. When do you practice small talk? For example, in English, not in Spanish or any other language you might speak, but when do you practice in English? Do you ever practice in English? Hmm. Anyone can answer this question for me. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Do you ever practice English? Ever practice small talk in English? Anyone? Are you with me here? I'm the one trying to make small talk with you right now on the live stream. Okay, in a pub. Now I have a comment here from Virginia in a pub, and Laura says I don't have any chances to practice. Well, this is a great opportunity, right? When we're here on the video together, this is a great opportunity that we can find a way to practice small talk. For example, do you have any questions you'd like to do you have questions you'd like to ask me? So if you look at the slide again, the big question is, do you practice small talk in English? Okay. Yeah. Do you practice small talk in English? Not in Spanish or your native language, depending where you're from, but in English. Okay, so I have from Laura with my online teacher. I'll wait for your answers to come in slowly, but let's continue. Again, you know, what do you do when someone starts small talk with you? How do you respond? What are some ways that you can reply to small talk? Hmm. Okay, so from Fernando, I'm seeing here, not really practicing small talk in English. Okay. Hmm. But let's talk about small talk in your life. So, for example, when? Yeah, small talk when you're at the gym. Okay, good. All right, that's pretty nice. From I have it from, was it Bongi or Bongi? I'm not sure how we say your I'm sure you say your name, but yeah. So you practice small talk at the gym. That's a good place. But what do you do when someone starts small talk with you? How do you respond? What's your natural response? So I have a comment here from Laura. Only in my English classes, I practice with my classmates before the teacher arrives. And from Fernando, it says, I good answer could be that's good. So are you saying that that you answer if you like the question? How do you answer small talk? Hmm. You're saying that you answer if you like the conversation? Only if you like it? Hmm. Okay. So we'll talk about this a bit. We're going to continue. So again, good talk means asking great questions. All right. So questions are an important way to create conversation. One of the things that I teach the most to all levels, and I mean all levels in my classes, from elementary all the way to advanced, I teach asking, I teach question asking, question forming. So, for example, what questions would you like to ask me? Do you have any questions? What are questions that you ask people in general? So, when we use verbs such as to be, to have, to do, as the question word, it's for yes or no questions. For example, is the weather nice in Paris? No, it isn't. Do you have a car? Yes, I do. So, do you have any questions you want to ask me or any questions you want to ask each other right now? This is something that's important. So, yeah. So let's see here. So Fernando and Virginia are saying yes, saying if I agree or not, yeah, or not. And Carolina says first greet the person, ask how he she is, and if there's time, we can talk about other topics. Yeah, okay, these are good. I think that this can be good. I think right now, especially with the COVID-19 crisis, we should really be thinking about how we communicate with others. Right now, we are behind computer screens. We are not talking face to face. We have to do what's called social distancing, right? Keeping distance socially, distance from others. And this is a very difficult thing for many people. For many people, they find it very difficult to be in a situation where they cannot talk with others. So, do you practice? Do you practice small talk with your neighbors? I know that, for example, I live in an apartment. Calling you from my apartment. This is my studio, and I can see my neighbors across the street, each window, and we now are getting to know each other. We communicate, we wave, we say hello. We don't talk yet, but I think that the more time the quarantine goes on, la cuarentena, right? You will be able to talk more with your neighbors. So, are you talking to your neighbors? Are you waving, talking to your neighbors? Can you? Do you live in a village? Do you live in the city? How are you practicing small talk during the quarantine, the confinement? Mhm. So, so let's see. Anything at all? Yes. How are you practicing small talk? Yeah. Okay. So I have a comment here from Carolina saying that I talk to the neighbors who have a dog. Okay. Do you go and walk the dog with them? Okay. So there you go. You have a dog too. Okay. Yeah, that's good. A dog is a good way to get outside and talk to other people. But of course, we have to think about social distancing, right? So let's just look at this one more time because this is really important, I think. And I'm just going to share my screen here with this link, the Espresso English. And Espresso English is a great website that I use as one of my free online resources. So I'm just going to share it here and show you what it looks like so that you can use it to practice. So this here is Espresso English, and it says that when you form any question in English, you can use a formula called quasm. Question word, auxiliary verb, subject, and main verb. So again, saying, for example, where do you live, right? Where, question word, do, auxiliary verb, subject, you, main verb, live. Now, this is for questions we're looking for very specific information. Where do you live? Ah, okay, I live in France, for example. I live in Madrid, for example. And it's the same thing when you use the simple present, the simple past. You know, where did you live in 2010, for example? You can say that for the present continuous. Where are you living right now? Right? So again, these are questions that we're using the what, where, how, why, when, for example. But when we have the questions that we use the yes or no, this is where we use just auxiliary verb, subject, and main verb. Again, very important, right? Do you like bananas? Are you studying English? The problem is remembering when we use these verbs, the correct verbs. So it's something that can be a little bit difficult to understand. So again, just continuing this here, going back to the PowerPoint presentation, I'm looking here at some questions. I have one from Bonhi that says, where, what else do you do when you are not teaching online? And well, I would say I stay at home like everyone else. So we have a very similar thing. I don't have a dog, but sometimes I go out to buy some food. I have another comment that says, I don't practice small talk with my neighbor because she's very rude. She often complains or always complains about my radio. Okay. And I have one here from Eduardo saying, I try to keep the conversation going, asking open questions, and I only talk online with some friends. We have language exchanges. Eduardo, if you're still with us, you can maybe tell me also what if you have small talk with your neighbors. If you can please share my PowerPoint presentation again. Thank you. We can go and continue here with the next part. Again, using the present perfect. Okay, so this is something that I teach a lot in my classes. Again, my classes are not grammar classes, but when we're asking questions, we need to be very careful which verb tense and which question word we choose. So, for example, the use of the present perfect is very important when asking people questions. Again, just using to have and the past participle of the main verb. So the form of the verb used for actions or events that have been completed or have happened in a period of time up to now. For example, I have never been to Zaragoza. Or have you seen Casa de Papel? Yes, I have. Right? So, for example, for you as a question, using the present perfect, right? Why do we use this question in small talk? To me, the present perfect is one of the most important questions we make in small talk. Why do we use the present perfect? Can you ask me a question using the present perfect? Anyone who's still watching, if you're still with us. Hmm. Why are we using the present perfect when asking questions? When we want to know information? Hmm. Hmm. Well, if you're still with me, you can let me know if you're taking us having a snack or a coffee right now. It's no problem. It helps for small talk conversation. W- So yeah, good. So thank you, Virginia, for asking a question. Really appreciate it. It's very nice. It says here, have you been? Yeah, we would say been to somewhere, been to Castilla-La Mancha. I went to Castilla-La Mancha, the region, but long time ago. I can't remember where. I have to remember one more time. So just to continue here, again, the big situation is we know that one. Have you been? That's one we use a lot. But remember, been, of course, being the past participle, right, is something that we use a lot. It's kind of a normal. But there are so many verbs that change a lot with the past participle. Yeah. And again, let's look at an example here. So, for example, if I say, have you read? Okay, that's fine. I read, I read, I have read. Okay, the verb doesn't change. But there are some verbs that change quite a bit. So, for example, I forget, I forgot, I have forgotten. So, they're just like with the past simple, the past participle, just as the preterite, is something that we have to think about when we're conjugating the present perfect. All right. So let's see here. So I'm getting a message here from here that we're going to wrap up the class here. So I'm going to wrap it up for you. Small talk, again, is everyday conversation. It can lead to big or bigger conversations, and it's the best way to know a person. Again, do you agree? Do you disagree? I think it depends, like we said. And sometimes small talk is poor in quality, but ask yourself this question before we leave today. What are the ways that we can improve small talk in our life? What are the ways? And I think one big way is asking great questions. Again, something to think about. So I want to thank you all for being with us today, for tuning in. And again, I filled in as a last minute for Delilah. But again, it was a pleasure to have your answers. Again, this is a live stream for italki.com. I am a professional instructor on italki. It's a great website to learn English and any other language that you are trying to improve your abilities at. So there are tutors, there are language partners, and there are lots of resources for teachers as well as for students such as yourself. So again, I wish you the best. Thank you so much for being with us today and tuning in. We're going to have the next class here, which is going to be reading for I think it's reading stories for children, contos para los niños, I think. So again, thank you for being with us today. Thank you all for your comments, and I wish you well and wish you good health and good vibes during the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you very much. Have a great day.